Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
What's up, guys? We're here at San Diego Comic-Con 2022. We're here with
Michael Uslan.
for Batman on Broadway. So please, expound.
Well, where do I even start? How about this? I'm a comic book geek since I was a little kid.
The hell you say?
Oh, yes. I had over 30,000 comic books by the time I got out of high school.
I'm kind of jelly now.
Went to the first comic book convention ever held on the planet Earth. And got to college and wind up finagling the College of Arts and Sciences and teaching the world's first ever college accredited course on comic books.
That's super cool.
Called the United Press International and said, "Why are they teaching comic books with my taxpayer money? This must be a communist plot to subvert the youth of America." And as a result, United Press International came knocking on my door, went out with an article all around the world about this. My phone started ringing. I'm on radio and TV talk shows, and one day I get a call from Stan Lee that says, "I'm reading about you in newspapers. What you're doing is great for the whole industry. How can I help you?"
Wow.
2 hours later, Saul Harrison, Vice President of DC Comics, calls. "We're watching you on television, reading about you in magazines. You're a very innovative young man. We'd like to fly you to New York and discuss ways we can work together." Geek dream come true. I'm now writing for DC Comics and working there in the summers.
Should I just bow at your feet?
No, you don't have to do that, because what I learned is, even though I'm a blue-collar kid from Jersey, didn't come from money, didn't know anyone in Hollywood, had no relatives in the business, I learned if you have a passion and you get up off the damn couch and be proactive, you can make anything happen. So I'm at DC Comics. Danny O'Neill brings me in to start writing Shadow. I'm walking down the hall 2 weeks later, and Julie Schwartz, possibly the greatest editor in the history of comics, who gave us the Dark Batman, Justice League, Flash, Green Lantern. He goes, "Hey, kid." I said, "Yes, Julie. I read your Shadow script." I said, "You did?" He goes, "Yeah, it didn't stink." I go, "Whoa, thank you, Julie. Thank you so much." He goes, "How'd you like to take a shot at writing Batman?" Dream I had since.
Did you faint?
Practically. There were a lot of tears also. I start writing Batman in Detective Comics and The Shadow. And one thing...
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
He does. So one thing led to another, and a few years later I went back to Saul Harrison, who was president of DC, and said, "Saul, you know me. I work for you. You know I love comics. I love the superheroes. I know the history behind it. I want to buy the rights to Batman and make dark and serious comic book movies. I want to show the world he's not the pot-bellied, funny pow-zap wham guy from TV." And Saul said, "Michael, you'll lose all your money. Don't you understand? Since he went off the air on TV, the brand is as dead as a dodo." And I said, "Yeah, but nobody's ever seen a dark and serious comic book movie before. It'll be like a new form of entertainment." He brought me in. I raised some money privately. I'm still a kid in my 20s. Raised some money privately, signed a contract, and I own the rights to Batman. And I go out to Hollywood, and everybody turns me down. Every studio told me I'm crazy. It was the worst idea they ever heard.
That's just nuts to me.
You know, everything in the context of its time.
True.
And what happened was, it took 10 years from the time I bought the rights to Batman until we were able to get our first movie out with Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, and Tim Burton.
Still my favorite.
Thank you very much. And the rest is history. I've been executive producer of the Batman film franchise and animation ever since. And through Joker and Dark Knight trilogy and Matt Reeves' The Batman, Joker 2 coming up. And it has been the life that I could only dream about as a kid, having turned my passion for comics into my work.
You just teased Joker 2. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, I just had a DC fangirl moment, okay? Anyway, please continue.
So I wrote my memoir. It's called The Boy Who Loved Batman. We did the audiobook version of it. And then they asked me to write a sequel memoir, which came out at the time of our Batman movie in March. It's called Batman's Batman, and that audiobook. And then the Nederlander organization of Broadway said, "We read your book. We think it is the perfect story to bring to Broadway. It is about hope. It's about inspiration. It's about passion, perseverance. You see your whole life in terms of real life superheroes like your parents and teachers that helped you get to the finish line. You see your life in terms of the supervillains who try to stop you and tell you no. So we think this could be uplifting, entertaining, emotional, and funny. And they're turning it into a Broadway play, and we're going to announce it tonight at 6:45.
Once again, wow. All sorts of odd things just kind of come together to create that.
To create that. And my message tonight going forward, it's not just about the boy who loved Batman, because it's also about the girl who loved Batman, the person who loved Batman. It's about all of us who grew up as fans, who in many cases were alienated, and now we have a community through Comic-Cons, through social media, through the movies. We've had
Shared fandom.
Yes, and that's what it is. So the play is about me, but it's also about you and everybody else who goes, oh, I did the same thing. Oh, that was me. And it's a celebration of us and how superheroes have impacted us. I don't know about you, but most of my friends, they said they even impacted our own sense of a moral code or an ethical code as we were growing up. And it's dedicated to all my friends like Stan Lee, Bill Finger, Bob Kane, Otto Binder, Jerry Robinson, all the creators I knew and loved, and who were denigrated during their years in the industry. And now, hopefully with this play, their children, their grandchildren and great-grandchildren can gain a respect for what their parents did as pros and how much it impacted all of us around the world.
So have you spoken with the actors who are actually in the Broadway play?
We have not gotten to casting yet. We are just talking about casting. We just hired our director, and the final draft is being written as we speak. But with the Nederlander organization, we are on top of the world.
Do you have like final say as far as creativity for the Broadway play?
I do, but I know.
Of course you do.
But I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. And what I've learned in life, it's important you find great people and great companies that are professionals and authorities so that you can learn to rely on their judgment. So we work together hand in hand, and I always seek their advice and their counsel.
Did you ever think your life story would end up as a Broadway musical?
Maybe in my wildest 7th grade fantasy, I might have, but in real life, no, because I'm just a kid who's doing what I love.
That is just amazing. Do you have any particularly charged scenes, emotional scenes that you want to tease?
Oh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot. The first time I met Bill Finger, I'm one of like 2 people left alive who met Bill. I was 13. And Bill Finger told me how Batman was created. That was a monumental moment in my life.
A defining moment, you could say.
It really was in a lot of ways. There was the moment in my Little League game, Pee Wee League. I'm 8 years old, and the coach rounds up those of us who struck out 3 times that day and starts screaming at us, telling us we're clowns to get out of his sight. And it's that experience as a kid that drove me into a world of comic books and superheroes, because certainly the athletic field was not the place that I could find companionship and friendship.
Or even basic understanding.
And that too. It's going into Old Man Tepid's store. He sold tobacco and comic books. He looked like Hitler. He had
Oh no!
mustache. Oh yeah. And you walk in there, he goes, "Kid, this ain't no library. Don't touch them comic books." And I was in there this one day because I couldn't find this one comic book I heard about. And I'm looking at him, and he grabbed me by the back of my neck.
No!
He said, "You touched all 4 of these. You got to buy them. You better give me 40 cents right now, or I'm going to lock you in the bathroom, and you'll never see your family again." This was Old Man Tepid. So shaking, I had my lunch money, and I had an extra dime my mom put in my pocket for an emergency phone call. Shaking like a leaf, tears coming down. I come walking out of his store until I look down. And I realized he sold me 4 copies of the same comic book. And
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but...
well, how about this laugh? Fantastic Four #1. Each one worth $300,000 today.
Okay, if I wasn't wearing a mask, I'd stick my tongue out at you. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
We greatly look forward to the show.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. And that's my entertainment. What's yours?